and welcome to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast, where we explore how technology, AI, and cybersecurity are reshaping the way we work. This segment of our tour, we are back at it again, live in London, interviewing top IT leaders. Each episode, we're going to bring you insights from real leaders and industry experts on how organizations can navigate today's challenges and unlock tomorrow's opportunities. From making sense of complex data, to simplifying IT environments, to delivering real business outcomes, Lenovo is helping businesses of every size reimagine what's possible. Join us as we dive into the future of work. Work Reborn. Let's go. Hello, my name is Rita. We are here live in London, back at it again on the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast. We have a return guest today. Ben, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Rita.
For anyone who has not heard of you or seen the last episode, why don't you give the listeners and viewers just a quick synopsis of who you are and the work that you do at Lenovo?
Yeah, actually, I lead Lenovo's digital workplace solution sales organization here in Europe, Middle East, Africa. Have a long working history with Lenovo, enjoy the ride ever since, and yeah, it's interesting times.
Tell me about something really exciting that you're working on right now behind the scenes at Lenovo, without giving too much information, but what is something that is really invigorating you and inspiring you?
I think it's not the one thing, it's a general interest that we meet from our customers to help them solve their individual challenges in the digital workplace area, right? It's just so interesting and so motivating to have those discussions and to engage in a deep discussion with our customers, engage on that discovery journey to really understand where the individual challenges of each customer lie and where we can help each customer on their individual transformational journey.
What kind of challenges are you generally seeing across the board as you've been talking to customers? Has there been a theme of things that have come up?
Yeah, I would say there is a bit of a theme emerging. The exam question, if you wish, is always similar or is always the same. How can Lenovo help me get rid of some of the tedious tasks of managing the workplace, right? How can you help us really transform our practices? How can you help us get to the next level and free up some of our resource for driving true innovation? And how can we co-create that ultimate work habitat and then have the desired state of our workplace environment?
Are you seeing a trend of types of businesses that are coming to us for this help, whether it's a certain sector or a certain size of business, enterprise, or you know what I mean? Like, what's the trend we're seeing of businesses that are coming to us for help right now?
Yeah, I think it's a broad spectrum. What I will say though is it's easier to engage on that journey because it takes an effort on both sides. It's easier to engage in a bigger scale organization,
Right.
bigger meaning maybe 5,000 users or more, not necessarily the multinational corporation with hundreds of thousands of people. There's good initiatives we are driving also with the, let's call them mid-market plus customers with maybe 5,000 seats or more.
Right. I do think once the organization gets so large, that's probably another big reason why they're coming to us for help, because there's so much complexity in the systems and the workplace now, much more than maybe in the past 4, 5, 10 even years ago. What is the modern workplace looking like these days?
Yeah, I think what we meet a lot is a somewhat heterogeneous infrastructure, right? So it often has evolved in silos, meaning mergers and acquisitions maybe drove parts of companies together, old practices were integrated, they try to pick the best of both worlds maybe, or then they needed to put band-aids on certain challenges to keep going, right? And we are trying to help customers take a step back, make a reassessment of the practices, see where are the value levers that we can use together to create more value for the customer.
In simple terms, how would you describe what the digital workplace solution encompasses?
I think it's all about helping customers maintain the health and stability of the devices throughout the whole life cycle of the device, from cradle to grave, if you wish, right? From deploying the device, from ordering and getting the devices shipped maybe to the end user, but to supporting throughout the life cycle, keeping machines up to date, handling patch management, and so on and so forth, to then having an asset recovery process at the end of the life cycle, always with a view on to sustainability and compliance, obviously.
I love that we have a focus on sustainability as well. I think that's a wonderful initiative and almost a differentiator as well too from maybe other people out there. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah, I think that is one of the important drivers where you can pick a couple of low-hanging fruits and where you often, in striving for sustainability, you find a win-win-win solution if you wish. On the one hand, you modernize your practices and you improve the user experience by maybe making a shipment process, a deployment process leaner, shipping from factory to end user directly. And in that same effort, you have a contribution to a more sustainable practice, taking out those shipment lags, reducing the CO2 emissions across the life cycle of the devices. So that's a fascinating angle to look at. And then obviously in our device as a service offerings, when we guarantee a refresh every 3 years, we also make sure that the devices we take back find their way through our refurbishment offerings into a second life cycle.
I think something else you mentioned, like the devices that we've been kind of coming across at this event, is people who come to us and they're a bit surprised about the fact that we're doing more than just devices now, right? Like, oh, I thought you guys just made really great products, but you're doing services now. What would you say to that person who's just kind of now coming across this service or this offering?
Yeah, I'll share a little secret here, right? So in our presentations, you can imagine we do have slides that read why Lenovo, right? Do you know where we don't need to present them? We don't need to present those slides with our customers even, because for them it's a natural expansion of what we do for them. We know the devices best. It's a natural evolution to provide the services around the devices. So at times we have more internal resistance to overcome than external resistance even.
Yeah, it's really, I love the feedback when people they're almost excited by it. They're like, oh, like, what's this new thing you guys are doing? Like, I'd
Yes,
love to learn
correct.
more.
And obviously, we hit a very good point in time with bringing AI-driven innovation to the workplace. So while some of our competitors need to support legacy infrastructure, we can come with a fresh approach, with a technology-driven approach, with a manual workload reducing approach to our digital workplace solutions.
So, do we offer training to help employees upskill in regards to AI as well throughout the services?
It's part of the
It's part of the program.
portfolio. It's part of our portfolio of AI solutions to help with the internal change management around the deployment of the AI tools. Yeah. So because I think change management, in my perspective, got a little bit out of fashion, while it is even more important than it used to be in the past, given the rapid change of technology and technological advancements.
I actually love that you brought that point up because you're right. It's not a topic we hear a lot about as much, change management, because everyone's kind of just like, oh, change is happening. We're used to it. We just deal with it as it comes. But it may be actually more effective to prepare for change even before it happens. What are some practices that we do to help our clients with change and empower them when they are going through these big implementations in their organization?
Yeah, I would like to take half a step back. I would
Yeah.
say, I would want to raise again what challenge we are facing, right?
Yeah, tell
So
us.
the technological innovation is ever speeding up, right? So the speed of changes, the speed of new tools coming to the workplace is ever increasing, right? What is not necessarily increasing is the ability to implement and the speed to implement those initiatives, especially then on a global scale with our biggest customers. So that is a very big disconnect, and we try to help customers mitigate the impact of and accelerate the implementation through helping them along the transformational journey, not only building the concept, but then also helping them implement and seeing it through to deliver the desired outcomes that they are seeking.
I've heard that as I've been interviewing people in the last couple of days on this segment, what you're saying is what's being resounded by the CISOs as well. It's not necessarily that the change is overwhelming, it's that there's a lot of tools to change and the speed at which to implement them is stressful, but it's also like they're looking around and trying to decide who's in charge of implementing as well because the roles are changing as well. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, in particular with AI, the change agents inside the companies or the people asking for the change has become ever more widespread, right? So lines of business having a say in IT strategy and also security strategies has been a trend for long, but it has absolutely been accelerated by generative AI now, right? Because obviously the line of business is at the fear of missing out and the fear of losing out versus competition. Yet any tool that gets implemented still needs support of the internal IT departments, needs CISO sign off. So that is a changing landscape.
Something else that I've really been enjoying as I've been talking to folks is there's this acknowledgement that AI is a tool, but there's still a really large focus on the human aspect as well of how do we empower and encourage and train our team, and how do we consider the human element as well into implementing processes and systems in addition to the tech side. Can you speak a little bit to our principles on being focused on relationship and um, having a human focused approach?
Yeah, I think there's one interesting aspect of our work Reborn studies, and an early finding in one of the series was with generative AI, we will be able to cater not only for different persona profiles on a high level, for different roles, like maybe the accountant, maybe the salesperson, maybe the executive, yeah, but you will even be able to cater for the individual's working style, because even if you give that same task to two different people, they will have a different way to their solution. Yeah. And I like to talk about persona 3.0 if you wish.
Tell me
That's
yes.
that's a more comprehensive approach to a persona based approach to delivering workplace services and solutions, right? In the past, when we maybe started to give a specific type of device, a specific type of hardware to a specific user, right? Then we went to combining it with corresponding software profiles, corresponding privileges, maybe. The next step was the evolution and also tailoring specific service levels, service offerings to maybe some VIP support or some VIP support also only for a certain period of time. So in quarter closing, the accountant is maybe more important than the CIO for some time, right? So should enjoy the same level of serviceability. But now with generative AI, we might even look at catering for the individual working style needs on a very individual level in this hyper personalized setup and approach to digital workplaces.
That sounds like it just blows my mind how we can get so customized in the employee experience now. I mean, when we think about employee experience, like what are some ways organizations should be thinking about elevating that in their organization? Why is it such a concern?
Yeah, I think that is a generational challenge to a certain extent. I think younger folks entering the workplace now, they have different expectations and and that is for very good reasons, they just don't accept mediocre technology, mediocre support levels. If their level of frustration rises much more quickly, if you wish, they are maybe less patient than previous generations, and for all the right reasons, because technologically we can deliver that very good user experience,
Right,
right?
they're used to the instant,
Correct. They want
efficient, like things are
instant
happening
resolution.
now. Yeah.
Yes. I don't think anybody under 30 will ever pick up a phone to call a service desk, right? That's so against the natural interaction with the world around them. So we need to cater for those needs and for those requirements and pick up the pace on innovating in digital workplace solutions.
As people are listening to this and trying to decide like what the next steps are for them, what should they be thinking about in the next few years, and how can we help take them into the next era of the modern workplace?
Yeah, I think a proven practice is really to take our support and then jointly we take a step back, right? We run a lot of those discovery sessions where we sit with our customers, we set the scene around the full portfolio of solutions we have, but then we start discussing their individual challenges stemming from compliance requirements, from growing user expectations, from a drive for sustainability, and we try to figure out where is the shoe hurting the most, pressing the most, where do we need to innovate first, and where are the critical levers for each individual customer to increase value and potentially also improve the total cost of ownership of the workplace.
If anyone listening to this just could have one takeaway, one piece of advice, just they leave with one thought, what would you impart or encourage them with?
Yeah, I would say take that step back to then take single steps forward, right? So Rome wasn't built in a day, and maybe before we get lost in a too big approach, let's drive incremental improvements together and see how that can lead to total transformation of the workplace.
All right. Well, I'm an enterprise that wants to work with you right after this conversation. How do we connect? What do we do? What are our next steps?
Yeah, you should be in touch with us, definitely, right? So reach out to one of my team, reach out to your client representative, and we'll get the discussions going.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a pleasure. I'm so grateful to have you back on the podcast. If anyone is interested in learning more, we'll be sure to put the information that we've discussed in the description below. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you for listening to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast. To learn more about how Lenovo is helping organizations transform with AI, cybersecurity, and smarter IT solutions, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Make sure to leave a comment with any other questions that you would like us to discuss on our next episodes. See you next time.
Lenovo.